Well, hey guys, welcome back to Waters Family Homestead. Well, what I've decided to do today is attempt to build some rollaway nesting boxes. So I've just been gathering up my miscellaneous scrap supplies, and I've got some new 2x4s that I had in the other building up there. I've got some hardware cloth that was left over there. Hardware cloth will be the bottom. And basically, it's just a nesting box where the bottom is angled toward the front so that the eggs rolls to the front of the box after they're laid. And if you get too steep of an angle, it's going, it could crack them when they roll down. And then you got to have a piece to cover that where the eggs roll to, so the hens don't try to set on those eggs. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do today. I don't have any designs. I don't have any plans, measurements. I just have it in my head. I'm using scrap materials for the most part. I got a little piece of OSB that I've cut a bunch off of, so it's scrap. And I'm just gonna go from there. So I'm gonna set this thing up and allow y'all to watch me work on it. And I'll probably edit a lot out of the video because you just don't want to watch the same thing over and over again. But set this tripod up a little better. Seems to be a little crooked, but anyway, I'm gonna get to work, and I'll try to limit my talking as much as possible so I don't have a whole lot of space that I can't cut out of me just measuring and cutting and stuff. I've got my old miter saw set up over here on these old 2x10s that I had stacked on the ground, just set up there so I've got an easy place to go cut. My kids bought me a compound radial arm saw, miter saw for Christmas, and the thing's awesome, but I don't have a place to set it up right now. The back of my truck's full of old telephone poles and stuff I was cutting. So that thing's huge. It takes a lot of space. I'm just going to use my old saw. I'm not doing any complicated cuts. I'm basically just building 34-inch, roughly 33.5, 34-inch wide nesting box. I'm going to 2x4 frame that, and then I'm going to go ahead and 2x4 frame a top of for that, same size, and then of course join them together with small pieces of 2x, and then I'm going to basically wrap it with scrap 2x4s and see how it turns out. I mean, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'll make alterations as I need to. So, sorry y'all talking at my midsection, but you need to be able to see me over there. I can aim it up a little bit, I guess. Let's see. It don't want to move. I think I got it screwed in a little bit too tight for that. But either way, I'm going to get to work. Y'all think those screws will work? I mean, things the length of my hand. But I've got a bunch of them in that bucket. That bucket is a bucket my son gave me from a job he was working on. When they finished, they had to tear down all their bunk beds and all that stuff that they build temporary while they're there working. He brought me a bucket full of screws. So I'm going to use what's left in that bucket. It's not costing me anything to get out here and try it. So I'm not using these screws, by the way. But there's a lot of deck screws in there. Alright, full disclosure. I cut the first 2x4 34 inches. That's what I was aiming for. And then the next two pieces of scrap 2x4 I grabbed were 33.5, and I went, well, I'll build it 33.5. What's a half-inch difference? It doesn't matter, right? So that's 33.5. And I cut the 34-inch one up to my little short side pieces there, 9 inches long. So that's what we got. update on Sue. I've been putting Sue out every evening when I get home in time to give him some time outside on this side of the fence. I let him stay in there yesterday, and he seemed to be doing okay. And I let him stay out all night, and I checked him this morning, early this morning, right after daylight. And there was a couple of hens picking at his back end again, back above that hip or whatever, where they were before, and had one little spot of blood. And I'm like, nope, he's not well enough to be picked on. So I put him back outside the fence. So Sue is actually running around the grassy area there on this side of the fence with me. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Those hens just, I don't know, maybe I'm never going to get that cannibalistic instinct out of them that they had from their previous owner. I don't know. I don't know why they pick on each other. So I've been thinking about if I could catch the ones picking on him, put them over in there with Junior in the last pen. Junior's a much more aggressive rooster. He might set them straight. So I just don't know. But they all look so much alike. If they ran around, I'd lose which one was doing the picking on him. So I don't know. But that's probably what I'm going to end up doing, is try to catch the ones doing it and put them over in there with Junior and let Junior straighten them out. Alright, I'm going to go measure the height of those nesting boxes. I want to make them plenty big. Be right back. Alright, so the larger nesting boxes that are in with the Rhode Island Reds are 13 inches high inside. And the back is, of course, a little bit more than that, so probably 15. But I'm just going to go with 12 inches. 12 inch high is plenty. Even the female turkeys can fit in there. And I don't know why, but we clipped all the wings. The little darker female turkey a couple of nights ago flew over into the last pen and has been roosting in there with Junior and the black sex lynx. Left her there. Now, today, in the last hour or so, the white female turkey has flew over into Sue's area, into the middle pen. And I don't know. Hard to keep them where you want them. I'm just about to the point, let them do what they want. Alright, so what I'm doing there is I want a 12-inch rise. If I cut that board 12 inches, it's not going to cover the 2x4 framing at the top and bottom. So 2x4 is 3.5 inches thick, roughly. It's actually more closer to 3.25, but it's what they say, 1.5 by 3.5. So I'm adding 7 inches to the height of that side panel, so it'll cover the framing at the bottom and the framing at the top, and give me the 12-inch height on the front that I want. It's going to have about a 3-inch roll away, 3-inch drop, in other words, so it'll be 15 inches inside on the back. And like I said, I have no plans, I have no measurements, nothing. I'm just working with what I know I want it to end up to be. Most of the screws I'm using for the siding are 1.5" Phillips head coated screws. They're not plain sheetrock screws. I've got some in there, and I'm not going to distinguish when I grab one, I grab one. But most of what I've got in there is a gray colored coated screw that'll keep it from rusting and all that. Might help it last a little longer, it's all. But it's getting warm enough there. I can just about come out of this jacket if I don't mess the zipper up. Oh, I already did. All right. Well, the two sides are on. I don't know if I'm going to have enough of the OSB to do the back and the front. So, to me, the most important thing is the front. So, I'm going to do the front board first, and then hope I have enough left to do the back. The back does not have to be solid. It's going to be screwed to the wall, so they're not going to go through it anyway. But I do want a back on it, at least at the bottom, just in case they decide to scoot back when they lay an egg and it fall behind it. So it doesn't have to be solid. So I'm going to use what I got. I'm going to do this front, and then I'm going to worry about the back last, and put it that way. And I dropped the screw and can't find it. That's not good because, you know, I drive here. There it is. This is what I'm talking about. It looks very similar to a sheetrock screw, but it's gray in color. It's coated, and honestly, they're a pain in the butt to use. They don't start near as well as a regular sheetrock screw does. But I got a bunch of them, and I don't like to use them on anything else, so this will be good. I'm sitting here thinking about it as I put it together, and what I'm thinking is it doesn't need the boards over the front on each side like that. It doesn't need them at all, because it's going to make it feel like it's boxed in, and the hen may want to lay on top of where the board is that the eggs roll up under, and I want it open so she'll get on into the box. So I'm thinking of cutting this out so it'll be open and she'll nest in. So I'm probably going to do that. But for now, I need a 7.5-inch board to go across where the eggs are going to roll under. I ordered some more microphones. I gave the ones I had to my daughter because they were a little too sensitive, and I tend to overpower it. So they haven't come in yet. They'll probably be just as bad. I don't know. If I could figure out, and I know they're expensive, but they're really good mics that you don't have to talk loud with, but if you do, it doesn't garble it all up or whatever, make it raspy, then I'm going to end up ordering those, but I just don't know which ones they are. That's actually the front. This is the back. I put that in the wrong spot. It's got to come to the back here. Alright. That's how it's going to be. Eggs roll forward. So I got to cover this part with a board and then staple the hardware cloth under the bottom. So they're laying on hardware cloth, and the egg rolls forward up under this shelf to keep them from sitting on the eggs, and also keeps the other hens from getting them dirty with their feet. I'm still getting some dirty eggs, but half my eggs are still being laid on the grounds. Why I've decided to build my own rollaway nesting boxes instead of those store-bought ones. One is the store-bought ones. I've spent about $400 or $500 on those things, and the hens will use them, but they don't like them as much, it seemed to me, as the wooden box that I used to have. So trying to build something that hopefully they'll like. All right, so this is the part that's got to be cut out here. That stays. And pretty much, other than a back, and it don't have to have a back because the 2x4s is there, and they're going to be nesting down in the bottom. Let me bring y'all over here and show you. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to slide it forward to leaning on me. That's pretty much how it would mount. Flat on top, inside slants down toward the front. There's going to be a board that covers right here all the way across. And the eggs would roll up under the hens, the wires on the bottom, hardware cloth, so the eggs are all going to roll up here. And that board will keep them from getting on those eggs. But it really, I'm allowing 6 inches, and I really don't have to have a full 6 inches because it is a almost 3 foot wide nesting box, and I'm not going to put dividers in it. So I really don't have to have 6. More than likely they're going to be laying all across there. I'm thinking if I can I don't even know if I can get my table saw out, y'all. And I think it's in the metal building there in a mini barn, but I'm thinking about getting it out and cutting that front board. I may just do it with jigsaw. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's a nesting box. It will need a top. And I don't like the flat tops because hens will roost on top of them and lay eggs. So I'll probably take a piece scrap 2x and OSB and screw it back to the wall like this so it slants really steep, and hopefully they won't try to nest on top of it or rest or sleep on top to keep them off of it. That's been a problem I've had with the ones that are in there. They poop all over the top because they just stay up there, and I don't like that. So I want to make the top of this enough of an angle that they're not going to sit and roost on top of this thing and poop all over it. So that's kind of the idea. All right, I'm gonna put you back on the tripod. All right, you're back on the tripod. Now, aim it down just a little bit. Now a board to cover this, and then wire on the bottom, and it can be hung. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm trying to keep the camera out of the sunshine. Otherwise, I could bring it a lot closer. But if I cover this, I can't do that with my phone. Y'all hang on a second. All right, if I cover this and mount the hardware cloth all under the bottom. That's going to give a place for the eggs to roll. Their poop and all will fall through, and hopefully they'll like this nesting box better than those individuals. We'll see. It's pretty inexpensive to build. I mean, I buy one sheet of OSB, really. Would build several. I plan on putting one in each pen, but I'm going to start off with the Rhode Island Reds and move those two big plastic ones. And I want to start with them because, one, the bottoms don't come off to where you can dump the dirt and debris out of it. And two is they're still laying as many eggs on the ground up under it as they are inside the boxes. So I'm getting 4 or 5 out of the boxes and 4, 5, or 6 off the ground up under them. So I'm going to put these closer to the ground so they can't get under them, but yet still be able to use the nesting box. That's the idea anyway. So I know I might have to edit a lot out of this video, guys, or at least speed up parts of it. It's going to take a lot of editing, but hopefully you enjoying the video. And let me get finished with this thing. All right, put this back on the pole holder. I've got to have a board cut for this, and to cover all of it is not absolutely necessary. I'm gonna put a piano hinge right here, and no, it doesn't have to be a piano hinge. I've got some cheap hinges in there I could use, but I'd prefer what's called a piano hinge, one continuous hinge. But I'm gonna use those cheap ones because that's what I've got, just so that lid flips up. So I'm gonna start with that. Let's see, that's 9 inches from my mark to the front edge, and this is only 6 1/4. So I'm gonna have to cut it out of the good end of this piece of OSB. I mean, yeah. If y'all hear the hens over there cackling, they're laying. Be right back. I've got another piece of hardware cloth. I think. Yep. It'll work for what I'm doing. Just shove the 2x4 up under my fingernail. I don't know how I managed to always get one shoved under my fingernail, but I thought somehow I do. Alright, I think I got it out. But that piece is bigger than the bottom of that, so if I can I bought a new staple gun. I'm going to get it and staple that hardware cloth on and cut this board for the front edge. And this thing will be ready to mount inside the pen. And hopefully the chickens will like it and use it more than laying on the dead-burn ground in there. So neither edge is a factory edge except for this. So I need 33 1/2. I believe 8 1/2 to 9. So let's do that. It came with these little old screws. They suck. Anybody that's ever used them knows the heads ain't worth the crap. They don't hold the screw. They suck, but they're definitely one-time use. Let me see if I can get these hinges mounted. I apologize, I know y'all can't see me. I'm working on the ground down here. That's what I mean. The screw is not going to stay on the bit if you're not holding it. They really do suck. I don't know why they bothered to put them in the package. I can't even get that screw to start. Ah, stupid screws. If I push any harder, I just push it in with my hand instead of screwing it in. Stupid daggum companies for doing that mess. They know their screws suck, and they put them in there anyway. I'd pay twice as much for the cheap little hinge with better screws. Now I've got to mount the ones to the board. Probably going to be a little bit aggravating. We'll make it work. All right. I think I'm going to start the hole with a sheetrock screw and come back and change it to these others so I don't have to fight it while I'm getting started. Alright, see it's sticking way through, but it won't. It won't once I'm done. Whoa, that was crazy. Alright, so I've got the two temporary sheetrock screws there. And that's what it's going to do. It's going to open to allow me to get to the eggs up under it. And I didn't even move the camera, I apologize. Alright. There we go. Alright, so I've got two temporary screws in until I get these aggravating little screws done. But it'll open up so I can get the eggs and then fold it back down. And that way the hens are sitting back here. The eggs are rolling up under this board. And so far, I'm liking the way it came out, considering I had no plans, haven't watched anybody else's videos or any of that mess. I'm just building it. and that screw did not start. Boy, I tell you what, them companies just don't care about the customer, don't care about people. Just, if you're gonna sell something, sell it right. Alright. Those screws just stick out just enough. It's not gonna hurt them if they step on it. Now I'm going to take out the sheetrock screw and put the aggravating little screw in there. Right. They stick out 1/8 of an inch. I could lay my hand on it, it'd hurt, but it wouldn't draw blood. So I'm not going to worry about filing those off or any of that mess. Let's see if I can get these next 3 cheap screws to do their job. One more. Oh my goodness, this is the one with the messed up head. Alright, let's see. I think that'll work. Alright, I'm gonna pause. Alright guys, my phone died on me, which I started with half battery anyway, but I'm done with it. I got the bottom stapled on. Got my new Stanley stapler. Look, that thing's been around forever, but it works. I've tried 15 other brands. None of them are worth a crap. They'll work sometimes and won't sometimes, and just not worth the headache. But I've got the excess cut off, got it stapled on the bottom, got it in the pin, and got it mounted. And I took the old, well, I say old, y'all know I've only had these nesting boxes for a few months. These big plastic ones here. I've only had them for a few months, and they are using them. And I told y'all the white female hen turkey moved in the middle pen. She laid her egg in one of these nesting boxes, so turkeys can fit in these larger plastic ones. She can't fit in that little metal one that's a little bit smaller. It's not a lot, but it's a little bit smaller, and she can't fit in there, so she's been laying on the ground. But she got into the middle pen here and laid her egg in the nesting box. But as y'all can see, I've already got it in there and mounted. And I still don't have a lot of battery on my phone, but I'm going to finish this video. I'm going to go in there and show y'all. I moved the eggs from those old nesting boxes into the new nesting box. So I've already had the hens in there checking them out. And I went ahead and filled up all their feeders. You see, he knows where his water and his feed is. I need to refill his water, actually. But I think that's why she moved over here, so she could lay in a nesting box instead of on the ground. I don't know. Of course, turkeys do what they want to do, especially little Miss Chris like that. But let me get in here and show y'all. It's mounted. I already had the 2 2x4s mounted on the wall. That's where I mounted the other nesting boxes and the ones before it. I hear the water going. They must have drank some. You see, I filled up their feeders. All 3 of them are full. There's a gray hen in that nesting box, so she's laying her egg, which is a good thing. There was one of the blue or green eggs in there earlier when I filled the feeders. So it's got plenty of fall to it. And look, a stick has already ended up in there. But there you go. That's the eggs from today. 7 chicken eggs and a turkey egg. Now, those were in the old nesting boxes. And I've got some blocks I threw in here I'm going to grab and put down here so they can't get up under here and lay eggs. Because it's going to be harder to get the eggs out from under there if they lay up under it. So I'm going to slide a block up under each back edge that prevents the adult chickens from getting under there. And hopefully, all I got to do is lift that up every day and pick up the eggs. So it worked out really well. It's not fancy. I'm still thinking of putting a board across the front right here to help close it in a little bit. But I'm definitely going to put some boards on the top at an angle here to stop them from roosting on top. So I'm fixing to start on that. And I'll show y'all what it looks like when I'm completely done with it. But for right now, it's actually usable. They've already been in it, as y'all could tell by the stick I just picked out of there. They put trash and stuff in there to try to build a nest and stop the eggs from rolling away, but that's all right. So all those eggs but one was in the nesting boxes. One was on the ground up under it. So there's 7 in there now. We'll see what's in there by the end of the day. So I want to build another one, same size, and do away with these 2 metal nesting boxes over here. And have one big one like that in here. Just easier to keep clean, because that bottom with the hardware cloth is not going to hold a lot of trash. So anywho, that's the idea. I do have enough hardware cloth, but it would be 2 pieces, not 1 piece like this one. So I don't know. I'm going to build another for each pen though. I want that style nesting box in all 3 pens. I believe it came out much better than, you know, I guess some people would have thought it would. And like I say, I'm going to put the boards across the top of it up there so they can't roost on top. And probably put a board across the front to help close it in just a little bit. But I'm fixing to get started on that. So let me get off here. This is a long video. I'm going to be doing a lot of the speed up part on it. And I'm going to be doing a lot of editing. Taking parts out from where I walked away looking for something or whatever. Hopefully I can get it down to about 30-40 minutes. So right now it's closer to 1 hour and 15, and I'm not done. I'm going to show you the done product. Alright guys, so here's a little bit of scrap left from that piece of scrap OSB that I started with, and I've got some more pieces up here. I could still build another one, but no need, not right now. I'm going to buy a full sheet and deal with it that way. So let me show you all the inside. Alright, as you can see as I'm walking up, it's a lot steeper top than what came with those other nesting boxes. So I don't think they'll try to roost on it. If they do, I can put a bigger piece and make it even steeper. You see I cut out for the 2x. Didn't go all the way down because I wanted the steepness. I've just got to screw up under it right there so it can't go down. But either way, it's nothing fancy. Alright. You just don't want your chickens roosting on top of it because they're going to poop all over everything and every egg and every bite, every hen that's in there, whatever. But I took a couple of scrap pieces and put across the front. I need to cut that one actually, and I forgot. But it ain't going to hurt nothing, just like it is. They will get in there. They feel a little more private when it's partially closed in. And they'll get in there and lay their eggs. So just to show y'all, it's the same 7 that I started with, plus the turkey egg. So it works fairly well. I'm kind of pleased with it. Now just to find out if they actually lay in it. It's later in the afternoon, and they may not lay anymore today. I don't know. I've been getting 8, 9 a day from those. So I'm gonna put those blocks up under the edge so they can't get under and lay their egg up under it, and call it done and see how that works. And if it works like I hope it does, then I'm going to build 2 more just like it. Buy another sheet of OSB. I got plenty of 2x, plenty of screws. So all I got to do is get 1 sheet of OSB, build one for that last pen and one for the first pen. And see, the gray hen is still inside the box over on that side. Get a little closer so y'all can see. She's still in there, trying to get comfortable to lay her egg. And the black hen is back there, probably laying one in the corner, which is where they've been laying. Half the eggs are in the corner, half of them are in the nesting box. So that's another reason I want to go ahead and build the rollaway boxes. It's bigger. Hopefully they'll feel more comfortable to get in there. And if you need to divide it into separate sections, all you got to do is put a board right down the middle. And, you know, separate it into 2 or 3 different nesting boxes. It's plenty big enough for 3 nesting boxes. But I want it wide open because sometimes chickens just don't want to go in there when it's too tight. And of course, if the turkeys are going to lay eggs, I might as well have them lay in there as well. So they can't roost when the eggs rolls away. They can't nest, I mean, or try to incubate the eggs. So I'm pleased with it. I'll do updates and let y'all know during my regular videos on how it's working out. You know, they could jump up on this side and crawl in, but y'all, they're chickens. They're not going to be able to do that, jump up and land and get in there. So that's, might do it from the inside, I don't know, but they're not going to do it from the outside. So I'm not worried about that. I think it's going to work out well. And it is very, very inexpensive. Whatever a sheet of, you know, one sheet of OSB and a couple of 2x4s cost, plus some screws. That's it. And anybody that wants to know what the measurements are that I used to build this, I just built it with what I had on hand as far as scrap materials. And I'll measure it and let y'all know what, you know, what each piece needs to be. So anywho, I appreciate you guys watching. As you can see, see that hen following his butt, pecking at his backside. Look at that. I want to kick her to the freaking moon is what I want to do. They're going to pick at him until he bleeds again. And I don't know why they do that. I just don't know. Y'all remember what I always tell you. Jesus Christ loves you, and so do I. Y'all be safe. Be prepared.